Hi, I'm Sam with CN-Seamless, and today we're going to try to cut through this 6-inch piece of steel plate. So we've never done this before. This is going to be our first attempt, but we're going to try to get some feed rate. So in case any of our customers want to do it, we have data for them. So I just took this piece of plate and welded it on its side because I didn't have any 6-inch plate. But this will be a pretty good simulation of what a 6-inch cut will look like.
Lab lessons learned number 1. The welded half-inch plate serves as a heat sink, resulting in slower heating on one side compared to the fully exposed side. Due to the uneven thermal expansion, significant warping occurred during this test cut. Sam will discuss how we'll mitigate this issue in our next tests.
So I just went ahead and loaded a line on the user interface. So now I'm going to do the orient to get the line in the right spot. So we're going to try to cut right down the middle here. So we'll start it right there. And then 2 points to guide it, like so. Now I can verify, yep, it's in the right spot. But I don't think the line is quite long enough, so let's go ahead and measure how big this is. It's 8 inches. So we're going to go back to our design menu, and we're going to make this an 8-inch line. All right, so now settings. This is kind of a guess, but I'm guessing we're going to want to cut this at about 4 inches per minute. And we're going to want to give it probably about 5-6 seconds to pierce. So we'll turn that pierce timer up. Luckily, we're going to be piercing the edge of the material. That makes it a little easier. But let's give it a shot. So this is a number 4 tip. So we're going to be burning a lot of oxygen today, but that's what it takes to cut 6-inch plate. Let's get it going. I gotta adjust my pressures too. So I'm gonna come over to my bottles, and I'm gonna turn my oxygen up to 100 psi, and I'm gonna turn my acetylene up to 15, and that's the maximum you should ever set acetylene, because any higher pressure than that, it's at risk of exploding spontaneously. All right, let's give it a shot.
Lab lessons learned number 2. If you hear popping from your torch, check how tight the nut is on the head of your torch. A loose nut can cause pre-combustion of the fuel and oxygen before they exit the tip, which is why you want to make sure it's always nice and tight.
All right, we're gonna let this preheat for a nice long time. All right, let's give it a shot.
Lab lessons learned number 3. Cutting through 6-inch steel is loud. We've never cut through steel this thick before, but you're definitely going to want some ear protection. We went ahead and turned down the volume so you don't immediately thumbs down this video, but as you can see, the CN-Seamless Mach 1 is definitely cutting the full length of the 6 inches, and we learned it can probably even go faster than 4 inches per minute. This created a ton of steel dust, and thankfully we were prepared with some water and a nearby fire extinguisher just in case. You can see there Sam checking on the cut and monitoring it just as you should with any CN-Seamless cut. This isn't a full replacement for torch operators. This is just a companion to make it even easier to cut through steel. And I certainly wouldn't want to be that close to the steel with the number 4 tip cutting through 6 inches myself. So I was thankful to be able to stand back 4 feet recording and watching it from afar. Part of the reason why you don't want to cut 6-inch steel with a number 4 tip is because to get anything like a straight line with a decent cut quality, you're going to be waiting a while. So we're going to throw on some elevator music and hope you enjoy this slow but pretty cut. Cut's complete. We're going to turn off the valves and take off ear protection and check out the quality of this cut, and Sim will be back with you in just a second.
All right, so we finished our cut. Unfortunately, we had a couple technical difficulties during the end of that cut. So I only tack welded this piece on, so it kind of warped out of the way once it got really hot. So next time we do this, we're going to end up doing a full weld on top and bottom so it doesn't warp out of the way. Second problem, I actually ran out of oxygen halfway through that cut. So towards the end, it wasn't getting the full cutting jet. But as you can see, it still cut through pretty well. And if you see the piece on the ground, you can see that that cut went all the way through the material. And it's actually a very good cut quality all the way through. Another thing that's really cool to point out is that even after doing that, with that much oxygen and acetylene flowing through, the torch is still cool to the touch. So as the gases flow through the torch, it actually cools the torch. And because it's made of copper, the heat dissipates really well. So no matter how big of a cut you're doing, your torch is going to stay cool and it's never going to burn you. So stay tuned. We're going to do some more cuts through really thick metal with the CN-Seamless machine and get good cutting data for every type of parameter. Thank you.